Today's guest is a special one. She spent 45 years in the Stamford school system, 25 years as a storyteller in the library system. She's an actress, she's danced on TV, but her most important job, in my eyes, is as a mother. Because no matter what, she had dinner on the table, our clothes were ironed, our house was clean. In this special Mother's Day edition, please welcome my guest today, my mother, Barton Kennedy. Welcome to the podcast, Mom.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. And I think I might be the only guest on your podcast that can still send you to your room.
I think you're right. Hey Stamford is your number one resource for all things local. And if you're tuning into this podcast, I'm guessing the city of Stamford holds a special place in your heart. So if you want to rep the city of Stamford, Hey Stamford, the store is where it's at. We make comfy, stylish hoodies and tees inspired by our city. Perfect for anyone who wants to rep Stamford while keeping it local. Hey Stamford, the store is your go-to for local goods, gifts, apparels, and more. Stop by in person at the Stamford Town Center or shop online at heystamford.com. Your one-stop spot to support local and look great doing it. We're going to get right into it, though. This is the special Mother's Day edition of the podcast. And to kick things off, what better way than to talk about me? What was I like growing up?
Well, our house was very active, and you were one of the more active members of our house. We always had a party going on, it seems, even when you were little. My childhood friends had children that became your childhood friends, and they were always at our house, always playing with wrestling figures and pretending they were WWE. You were very social and had lots of friends, and we had lots of fun.
To that point before, me, my friends, my siblings, we did just beat the crap out of each other growing up.
Yes, you did. Yes, we spent many hours at the emergency room when wrestling turned into head injuries and arm injuries.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, Mom, without embarrassing me, share one of your favorite stories about me growing up.
You always, from the time you were little, had an entrepreneurial spirit. And I think it really came to a head when you were in middle school and decided that you would begin the PJ Kennedy fan club. And you started selling membership for 25 cents to all your friends at St. Gabriel's, and had many, many members in the PJ Kennedy fan club. So that is one of my very favorite stories.
That was a little entrepreneurial, wasn't it?
I might add, we still have a list of all those members, so they know who they are.
They do. That was very entrepreneurial of me, right? 25 cents, you join the fan club, you get a newsletter, the idea for a T-shirt. That was good thinking.
So you were making T-shirts even then.
It comes full circle. I like it. Let me ask you this. Did you ever think that you would be sitting in my store on my podcast having a conversation?
Yes, indeed, I did.
Did you?
Because at one point when you were in high school, you worked in every store on this level of the mall.
It's true. I worked at Abercrombie for a lot of years, Tommy Hilfiger, Pottery Barn, somewhere else that I'm forgetting. I spent a lot of time in this mall.
Yes.
It's nice to have my own store here now.
Yeah. So you're right where you belong.
I love it. Let's talk about you, Mom. 45 years at Newfield School.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I think it is. Yes, I'm very proud of that.
How did that start?
I was president of the PTO at Newfield, and I was there every day volunteering. And the principal at that time finally said, "Why don't you just work here? You're here all day long every day." And I couldn't work at the time because you and Chris were still in kindergarten, and it was only half day then. So I waited until the following year when you were in first grade, and the principal offered me the job again. And so I started in 1980.
45 years later, you're still at it.
I am, yes.
That's incredible. You certainly had an impact on the students and the school community there. I mean, even when we're out, I still see students come running up to you and that remember you.
All the time, yes. And I love it, yes.
What are some of your favorite memories from Newfield?
I've worked for 9 principals, and I couldn't even begin to count the number of teachers that I worked with. All of them were special memories, and I run into children all the time that I remember and have stories to tell with them and about them. And I think probably a memory that stands out is all the years I worked with our wonderful music teacher, Mr. Sanislow, putting on the 5th and 6th grade musicals. I love theater, and I think it was really a way for me to show my creative side, and I love doing that.
I love that. That's actually a good segue, Mom, because you actually did a little theater yourself.
I did.
You actually danced on the Ed Sullivan Show.
I certainly did.
Talk about that a little bit.
I am very proud that I danced on the Ed Sullivan Show because so many famous people were on the Ed Sullivan Show. The Beatles, Elvis Presley, and me. So it's
You fit right into that lineup.
It's a very happy memory for me. What's very special is that many of the people that were on the show with me, I'm still friends with today. So,
How did that come about?
Phil Jones School of Dance was a very popular dancing school in Stamford, and he really trained his students amazingly well. And Ed Sullivan, who lived in Portchester at the time, got heard of us and invited some groups to come on the show. And I was on his show 3 times.
Wow.
And it was just such a memorable experience.
Do you remember who was on the show with you?
I do. One time, cabaret singer Polly Bergen did a song and dance number with us, and another time the entire cast of the Broadway musical The Sound of Music was on with us. Another time, the cast of The Music Man was on with us.
That's so special.
Very special.
Now, your dancing and singing days didn't stop there because you actually studied that at college?
I did. Well, I went to UConn for a bit and begged my father to go to theater school in New York City. So I went to the American Musical and Dramatic Theater Academy in its initial year. And at that time, it was under the auspices of Juilliard. It wasn't part of Juilliard, but it was begun by Juilliard for a musical theater department. And I went there for 3 years, and it was just a fabulous time.
You studied under Meisner.
I studied with Sanford Meisner, who is probably one of the most respected drama teachers in the country.
That's
Yes.
incredible.
And I also studied with Philip Burton, who was Richard Burton's father, and he was also very renowned.
Huh. Were there any other famous actors, actresses that were in your class?
There were a few. Ava Gabor was in my class, and Sherry Lewis, the puppeteer,
Oh, yeah.
was in my class.
With Lamb Chop.
With Lamb Chop,
Nice.
yes.
Was Lamb Chop a student also?
He did not make an appearance, but I'm sure he was somewhere.
How did your performance career advance after that?
Well, I graduated from the theater school, and at the time I was dating your dad, and the New York theater scene at that time in the 60s was a little bit shady, and I didn't really feel comfortable in that scene, and I really decided that I was probably not meant for the New York theater scene. And I was dating Dad and just thought maybe it was time to retire.
So you came back to Stamford.
Came back to Stamford.
You hung up the dancing shoes and entered the sports world.
I certainly did, yes. So Dad and I got engaged shortly after that and got married. And I had no sports experience at all. I did not grow up in a household with sports, but it came on very suddenly and I learned very quickly. When Dad and I came back from our honeymoon, instead of carrying me over the threshold of our new home, he carried me into Scalzi Park to see the Twilight League baseball game. We didn't even go home and unpack first. So
I love that.
I learned very quickly.
Yeah. And many summers spent at Scalzi Park since then.
Many, many. Scalzi, almost every field in Stamford.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Mom, you did not become that Broadway star, but has there been anything along the way that helped you kind of fulfill that creative side?
Well, once the four of you became adults and were heading towards independence, I really felt I needed to do something fulfilling. And so I began working in the library system in Greenwich and Stamford. And I became in charge of story programming for the Perrott Library in Old Greenwich. And I did the story times in the Ferguson Library system in Stamford at the Harry Bennett branch and at the main branch. And it gave me an opportunity to perform and read and tell stories and do arts and crafts. And so I think it really filled a need when I was feeling a little bit empty nesting. I really feel very fortunate that I had that come into my life.
Definitely. You really loved that job.
I loved that job.
They were good people over there. Let's segue over to growing up in Stamford. Talk to me about your schools. Where did you go to elementary school?
Went to Stark Elementary School and then Dolan Middle School and Stamford High.
What was it like growing up in Stamford?
I had a wonderful childhood. It was a great place to grow up. And I had friends from elementary school that I was still friends with right through high school. And I'm still friends with them today.
You're still friends with so many of your friends from elementary.
So many friends from elementary school. I'm one of the few people that never moved away from Stamford. And I think it's a wonderful city.
Must be where I get it from.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of your favorite places growing up. Where would you hang out?
Oh, well, we were on double sessions in high school, so we got out of school at 12 o'clock, and we would head right down to a little restaurant on Broad Street called Goodies. And, of course, we sat there and did our homework all afternoon.
Of course.
Yes. Right. Other places were Stark Confectionery, Lucy's, which was on Forest Street. There were so many places. We had a great childhood. Spent a lot of time at the Starlight Drive-In, which was down in Chapin.
An actual drive-in in Stamford?
An actual drive-in.
Awesome.
I spent a lot of time at the Chapin Beach Club, which was at the end of Iroquois Road. Went there almost every day of the summer. Or West Beach or Cummings Beach. So it was a wonderful childhood.
What section of town did you grow up in?
I grew up in Glenbrook, in the Glendale Circle, Alton Road area.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
We'll have to get you one of my Glenbrook T-shirts.
Yes, I need a Glenbrook T-shirt.
And you hung out downtown a lot?
When I got older, I
Yeah.
would take the bus downtown. I would take the bus to go to dancing school and then hang out downtown and be with my friends.
What were some of your first jobs like?
I did a lot of babysitting, and I assisted my dance teacher and helped him teach some of the little children. I worked for the Parks and Recreation Department as a camp counselor on several different parks. I got a job at Best and Company on Bedford Street around the holidays.
That was a retail store?
Yes, Bedford Street was a fabulous street in those days. It was like Rodeo Drive, and there were some amazing stores. Bedford Teen Shop, Miller's Lilliputian, the French Shop, I. Davidson, Peck and Peck, Best and Company, Foot Form. Fabulous.
I love it.
Fabulous
great.
shopping.
All right, this is our special Mother's Day edition of the Hey Stamford podcast. Mom, I'm so happy that you're on here with me. Talk to me about what was most important to you as a mother.
It was hard being a mother. There were so many challenges, and it's not an easy job. And I think the thing I wanted most for you was for all of you, you and your brothers and sister, to grow up and be decent, wonderful, kind human beings. And I think I accomplished that. So I'm pretty proud of myself.
You said it was difficult. I mean, I can't imagine us four being too difficult.
Oh, it was difficult, PJ. It was hard. There were hard days. It isn't easy having 4 children and trying to keep you all in line. And Dad and I had our challenges, but the fact is you all turned out to be pretty wonderful.
Was there something you hoped that we would learn along the way?
I think what every parent hopes for, that you will, as I said earlier, just grow up to be decent, kind, thoughtful human beings.
What's something you're most proud of right now as a mother?
I am so proud of my 4 children and my 11 grandchildren, all of whom are successful human beings. Yes.
I'm just thinking, growing up, I made you a lot of arts and crafts, pictures, popsicle stick things. I'm sure you have those all saved somewhere.
I certainly do. And they will all be yours someday to hang in your home.
If you could give a piece of advice to a new mother right now, what would you say to them?
I would say that you really need to not be so intense and to relax a little bit and not be so worried that every decision you make is going to impact the future of your child, and to maybe pick your battles. That was a piece of advice that I got from one of my coworkers at school, and she said, just pick your battles. Don't worry over every little thing. And I think that was good advice.
That's great advice. We're going to wrap up right now. Before we do, I just want to say thank you, and I love you. Thank you for taking the best care of us, for raising 4 incredible kids, for being supportive, for just being there and teaching us. I wouldn't trade any of that in the world, and you have been an amazing mother, and I love you. Thank you.
I love you too, PJ.